You're grown. You've got responsibilities. Maybe you've got a job, a place to live, people depending on you. But if you're being honest with yourself, and that's what this is about, you're still operating like a boy in a man's body. And you know it. Not because you're weak, not because you're broken, but because nobody ever showed you what the transition actually looks like. Nobody sat you down and said, "This is what a man does differently." So you kept doing what you knew. You kept reacting instead of leading. You kept avoiding instead of confronting. You kept waiting instead of building. And now you're here, and something inside you knows it's time to change. Here are 7 signs you're still living like a boy. And I'm not saying this to shame you. I'm saying it because a man who can see the truth about himself is already halfway to becoming who he's supposed to be. The first sign is that you're still waiting for permission. A boy needs someone to tell him it's okay to move. He waits for his boss to recognize him, his family to believe in him, his girl to validate him. He doesn't move until someone gives him the green light. A man doesn't wait. He decides, he moves, he builds, and he lets the results speak. If you're sitting on a dream, a business idea, a life change, waiting for someone to tell you you're ready, that's a boy's habit. Men don't wait for permission. They take responsibility for their own direction. The second sign is that your word means nothing, not to other people, to yourself. A boy says he's going to wake up early and hit snooze. He says he's going to stop the bad habit and gives in by Thursday. He tells himself this time it's different and then does the same thing again. A man keeps his word, starting with the promises he makes to himself. Because if you can't trust yourself, nobody else will trust you either. Your word is your integrity. It's the foundation of everything you're trying to build. Every time you break it, even when nobody's watching, you're telling yourself you're not serious. And eventually, you start to believe it. The third sign is that you're still running from hard conversations. A boy avoids conflict. He lets things fester. He swallows his feelings because confrontation feels dangerous. So the resentment builds. The relationship deteriorates. The problem gets bigger. A man walks into the hard conversation because he understands that avoiding it is always more expensive than having it. He says what needs to be said, not with aggression, not with ego, but with clarity and conviction. If you've been swallowing words that need to be spoken, that's a sign you're still operating from a boy's fear. The fourth sign is that your life has no real direction. A boy drifts. He works to pay bills. He spends the weekend recovering from the week. He exists from Monday to Friday waiting for Saturday. He has no mission, no vision, no target he's actually moving toward. A man has a direction. He knows what he's building. He can tell you where he's going and why. His days are not random, they're intentional. If you woke up tomorrow and had no obligations, no job, nothing forcing you to move, would you know what to do with yourself? If the answer is no, you don't have a mission yet, and without a mission, you're still a boy. The fifth sign is that you're controlled by your appetites. Whatever feels good in the moment wins. The food, the scrolling, the women, the distraction. A boy is a slave to his impulses. He eats when he's bored, drinks when he's stressed, chases temporary relief from permanent problems. A man has mastered himself, not perfectly, but he's in the fight. He chooses discipline over comfort because he understands that the man who controls himself controls his life. Everything you want, the body, the money, the respect, the relationship, is on the other side of self-mastery. A boy never gets there because he keeps choosing right now over later. The sixth sign is that you still need people to see you. You still need the validation, the likes, the approval, the recognition. A boy measures his worth by how other people respond to him. A man knows who he is without the applause. He does the work when nobody's watching. He builds when there's no audience. He leads even when nobody's following yet. If your mood is determined by how many people responded to your post, if you need someone to notice your effort before you feel like it mattered, that's still a boy operating inside you. A man's identity is not up for a vote. The seventh sign is that you haven't built anything yet. A boy consumes, a man creates, a boy takes up space, a man leaves something behind. Whether it's a business, a family legacy, a body of work, a community you've impacted, a man is building something that will outlast him. If everything in your life right now is about your own comfort, your own pleasure, your own survival, if there's nothing you're creating that's bigger than yourself, you haven't fully crossed over into manhood yet. Now here's what I need you to understand. This isn't condemnation. This is a mirror. Because when a man can see clearly where he is, he can decide clearly where he's going. Proverbs 27:17 says, "Iron sharpens iron as one man sharpens another." That's what this is. I'm not above any of this. Every man who's ever built something real had to look at himself and admit where he was still living small. The transition from boy to man isn't a moment, it's a decision you keep making every single day. So the question isn't whether you've been living like a boy. The question is, what are you going to do now that you can see it? Walk with God while you work for the crown. When he crowns you king, tell the world of the truth you found. That's king-level mindset. Kings don't beg, kings don't bow, kings build.